Sure, we can go ahead and get started. Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Clean Pittsburgh Commission meeting. Has everyone received a copy of the agenda for today's meeting? Does anybody need it before we get started? Okay, cool.
Hi, I'm sorry. This is Kelly. I did not get a copy of the agenda. I apologize.
No, it's fine. Let me send an email to everyone. Just a moment while I get that out.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Alicia, did you send this to me? Or Rachel, can you send that to me? This is Bill.
I can. Let me see if you are on the email list, Bill. I don't see your name. Bill, what's your email address? We have two.
William.
Yes.
CREAN at pittsburghpa.gov.
pittsburghpa.gov. Gotcha. Okay. All right, it's coming out in email to everyone right now. Cool. And let's admit Sally. All right, now that that's out, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Rachel Naraki, and I am co-chair of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. And early in last year, we decided to open each meeting with a statement that kind of guides our purposes. And I'm going to just read that to you all now. It's sort of like a centering exercise. The Clean Pittsburgh Commission celebrates the 300,000 neighbors in 90 neighborhoods of Pittsburgh and affirms member representation must be geographically, socioeconomically, and racially diverse in order for the body to be effective, relevant, and creative. The commission recognizes deficiencies and actively engages different perspectives through a platform of mutual respect. This engagement and respect will be a tenet of all regular meetings and all program functions of the commission, as well as in all communications. When a distinct neighborhood is in focus, initiatives developed with that neighborhood will be shared as replicable project templates. Work within neighborhoods of focus will be informed by neighbor input. Obtaining input will be done thoughtfully by meeting people of different ages at different levels of civic engagement and where they are. And with that, we're going to go through everyone and have us introduce ourselves and the organizations or communities we represent. And as we have a special guest with us, Bill Crean from the city DPW, if you want to take a few moments to talk a little bit more deeply than you might regularly about your organization's work, we would wholly welcome that, just to make sure that Bill has the context he needs. So with that, again, I'm Rachel Naraki, co-chair. I see you all in sort of a Brady Bunch configuration here on my screen. And just to kind of keep it flowing and make sure that we include everybody, I'll just pick people as they appear in order on my screen for an introduction. What else did I want to say? Maybe that's it. Anyways, I represent 412 Clean Teams. And I live in the county. I'm not inside city limits, but I am absolutely dedicated to cleaning up Pittsburgh, one little spot at a time. So with that, welcome, good morning, and Alicia, you're first in the squares.
Hooray. Hi, Rachel. Thank you. My name is Alicia Carberry. I have been the co-chair with Rachel of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission for the last while. I live in Polish Hill, and I recently transitioned to a new position with the city of Pittsburgh over in Public Works within the Bureau of Environmental Services in the recycling division. So I'm happy to tell you a little bit more about that in a while, but for now, yes, hello.
Hello, good morning, thank you. Ms. Ninos, you're next.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Erica Ninas. I use she, her pronouns. I serve as the Sustainability Coordinator in the Division of Student Affairs at the University of Pittsburgh. And so in that capacity, I manage all student-facing sustainability work. So that is education and outreach related to composting, reuse events, recycling, and a whole other host of things, food recovery, both on campus and off campus.
Thank you, good morning. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Rachel. I'm Sarah Shea. I'm currently treasurer of the CPC, and I am deputy director of the Pennsylvania Resources Council. We at PRC do a lot of work, very similar, Erica, to the work you do, focus on supporting recycling, composting, mainly waste diversion work in a number of facets in the city and throughout the state of Pennsylvania.
Thank you, good morning. Omo, you're up.
Hi, hello. Good morning,
Hi.
everyone. My name is Amaya Kweli. I'm a recycling specialist with environmental services in DPW. I don't know what's most pressing right now. You know, I kind of fingers are in everything, honestly. But we are gearing up for our Christmas tree collection. I'll just, say that. So we'll have some spots to drop those off. But yeah, hi, my name's Omo. Nice to meet you guys.
Good morning. Chris Mitchell, you are next in line.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Mitchell. I'm anti-litter specialist for Department of Public Works and project coordinator, environmental services. Kind of a dual role there. I basically have my fingers in all things trash in the city, wherever I can get myself involved and do a little bit better. That's what I'm here for.
Awesome, thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Afton.
Good morning. My name is Afton Giles. I'm the Senior Sustainability Coordinator with the City of Pittsburgh. We're in the Division of Sustainability and Resilience, which is part of the Department of Planning. For sustainability, we're in everybody's business. We love it. So we do a little bit of everything, everything from compost to legislation, stuff with interns, if it's sustainability, energy, cars, EVs, whatever. If there's a sustainability and resilience edge or angle to it, we're part of it. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
I'm also
Emily,
co-treasurer.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, of course. Emily, you're up. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Emily Pikosny. I'm the Zero Waste Events Manager with Pennsylvania Resources Council. So yeah, my main work is mostly on the event side, special event side of things, doing waste diversion at events all around the city and the county. But I do assist with the other aspects of PRC's programming as well. And on a bunch of projects with a lot of you guys. So excited to connect again.
Excellent. Good morning. Kelly, good morning.
Good morning, all. My name is Kelly Wacker. I work for the Pittsburgh Public Schools. I've been acting in the position of Energy Management Coordinator for about the last year and a half. And as of 2 weeks ago, I'm officially the new Energy Management Coordinator for the School District of Pittsburgh. Thank you all. And good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Myrna.
Good morning. I'm Myrna Newman. I'm the Executive Director of Allegheny Cleanways. We clean up litter and illegal dumping in Allegheny County. And we were one of the founding organizations with PRC and the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. Thanks.
Uh-oh, everybody shifted. Now I have to remember. Oh no. Good morning, Sally. Nice to see you.
Hey, good morning. I'm Sally Stadelman. I'm Councilman Bobby Wilson's Chief of Staff, and Councilman Wilson represents 14 neighborhoods in the North Side. Good to see everybody.
Good to have you. Good morning. Lori Beth, hey.
Hi, I'm Laura Beth. I have she, her pronouns, and I live in West Side, and I'm just a resident.
Just a resident. I love residents. All right, Mr. Crean, Bill Crean.
Yes, I went offline to talk to Republic Services, actually, so I'm back. Hey, I'm Bill Crean. I'm the Superintendent of Street Operations for the Department of Public Works in Pittsburgh. My duties are quite a few, but one of them is clean streets and emptying the street litter cans, the black strap cans that you see in the neighborhoods, potholes, litter, street sweeping. And sadly, all the tires that are collected end up at our 5 maintenance divisions, which I think is why I'm here to discuss this. So we work to dispose of them with a contractor. And should I just jump right into that? Is that the issue? Are you going to go on with introductions?
Let's keep going with introductions.
Okay.
We have a few other administrative things to get through, and then we'll hand the floor to you. We know you're really busy, and we're super glad you're here. So
Okay, well, thank you.
You
Yeah.
are high up on the agenda. Okay, let's see. Everyone will see the name William Lamar on our screens. He's just assisting us with the technological aspects of this meeting, so we won't ask him to introduce himself. He's not really here anyway. Erica Young, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Erica Young. I work in the Public Affairs Department for Waste Management here in Pittsburgh, covering our sites in Western Pennsylvania and West Virginia. And I work and manage our community engagement and social impact, our customer communications, and our internal and external communications for our sites in this region. And I also sit as currently Secretary of the CPC. Happy to be here with you guys.
Good morning, thank you. And then Ms. Tobin, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Erin Tobin with the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy. I am the Community Engagement Manager, and I live on the north side.
Well, good morning. All right, I think have I missed anyone? There was some shifting of our squares. Okay, we're good. All right, next on the agenda for today is previous minutes review and approval, and we did not get those out in a timely fashion to allow for review, and so we'll just, if there's no objection, table that for the next meeting. Awesome, thank you. Next, then we have E is for enforcement, and at this time I'm going to hand it over to Chris and Alicia.
Last meeting we had at a weird time, so if it feels like we just saw each other, it's because we did. A couple weeks ago, we met with the local district magistrate judges to reinforce the idea that these trash issues need to be taken seriously, to let them know that there have been code changes, that there will be new processes within the city for enforcement. They're going to see new officers who are dedicated to these trash issues, thanks to the gold plan put together by the Clean Pittsburgh Commission and everybody here. So we're all very happy to have their buy-in on that. One of the things that we talked about with the magistrates was this idea of a survey, how they would like to see these cases brought to them, what has been missing, how have we failed in the past in bringing these things to them. And the magistrates who attended seemed open to it. We have not had a single answer on that survey yet. So as a call to action to everyone here, if you could look up the magistrate judge in your district and say, hey, I'm with the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. They sent you a survey to fill out so that we can send you these trash cases a little bit better. That would be very helpful. Do you have anything to add to that, Alicia?
Just amplify what you said. We at the city and we as a commission have typically not found it difficult to engage with our local magistrates, and they hold a good deal of power on, well, ruling on these cases. And like Chris said, we really wanted to reinforce the ask for consequences with this, and a little bit beyond that, we're working on a proposal if you remember, whenever we updated the city's 601.11 code on defining and outlawing littering and illegal dumping, we sought to streamline, or we sought to make the language very consistent on the penalties, but we also added penalties and/or community service, community restitution. So we are working now internally, and of course, if you have ideas or would like to help on what's called the 1520 list, the alternative adjudication sites, where organizations are queued up and ready to receive and assign meaningful work and then verify the hours for anyone who would be court mandated to volunteer. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited that all of this is kind of happening at the same time, if not overwhelmed. But what we're looking to do with that community service list is to make sure that we can help any of us here become a verified site, if not already, and learn, how the judges may already be doing that, and how we can kind of help build. Chris, is it 13 local magistrates that we have? If we were able to connect each of those with at least one community organization, preferably one that picks up trash. Just imagine how, we've noticed a good bit of resistance for judges in leveraging fines, since they have been communicated as exorbitant, up to $10,000. So in looking to still show consequences, we want to make sure that we are being, or advocating to be restorative and not only punitive. We mean business.
Sally, I see your hand up.
I was just going to say, January might be a better time to resend those surveys, since we're going to have a lot of new magistrates. Like, we don't have one right now on the north side.
That's an excellent note. Why don't we will hold off on asking for you to bother your local magistrates, and we'll bring this back up at our January meeting. And we'll have new ones who haven't seen the presentation and stuff like that yet. I'll share the link for the presentation, the video that we have on our last Clean Pittsburgh Commission meeting, and the link for the survey, and then we'll put you all to work then. Thank you.
With some clear guidelines. Yeah, and then the second item, under E is for enforcement, also what I had mentioned, the alternate adjudication sites. And I wanted to ask, with us all in the room, do you know of organizations? Do you, as an organization, accept court mandated volunteers? Open question.
I know we have occasionally at collection events, not large groups. It's usually kind of one-off folks that have come out, but we have.
Do you know if you're on that 1520 list? Do you know? Have you heard of that?
I don't know. Emily, do you know? I am not sure. That would be something we'd have to look into.
Yeah, the only instances where I've done that has been through like direct contact with the community that like my zero waste event is in, and then it's usually youth that are doing community service. So I don't know if it's as formal as that in the instances where I've done it, but I think it would make a lot of sense too.
We get a lot of people reaching out individually, looking for volunteer opportunities, and we work with them. But it's on an individual basis usually.
Yeah, we do, and as I told you, Chris, we were on that list. I don't know that we still are, but we still get court-appointed volunteers.
So hopefully that means at least Allegheny Cleanways is still on the list. We'd like to formalize a process of our member organizations here, how to get on the 1520 list, and then also work towards the city accepting those as well, because we do have the volunteer application here. I do know that I've had people reach out to me specifically saying, hey, I need to do community service, and the city has not been able to accommodate that up so far. And that's probably something we need to change if we want a little bit more regimented structure to this as we work towards this enforcement goals. So we'll hear more about what we can do to get everybody here who wants to participate in the 1520 list, what the process is, and getting that in front of all the magistrates and the DA and everybody else involved as well.
If we have a court appointed volunteer right now, should I assume that we are on that list, or should I check? Is there some place that I should check? Like or you'll figure that out and let us know.
We've asked for the list specifically, but I want to assume that you are, but we also know that sometimes people just keep doing something because they keep doing it. So it could just be a couple judges know and a couple don't. So we are working to get the official list right now, and then how to get on it. Or Alicia, have we gotten that yet?
Not yet, but when Chris and Missy Rosenfeld and I were at municipal court to be peripheral, help inform a case of an illegal dumper that we caught. Was it someone from the D? We were able to connect to the person who knows, and I mean that's part of it too. I was unfamiliar with this overall, so we have a lot to learn, some information to gather, and hopefully put together some ingredients to get this going, or use our powers to advocate to get this going.
Thank you.
Which is a great segue into the reason we were in court there meeting with that public defender and the police officers are the Clean Pittsburgh Commission's cameras led to the first ever arrest of somebody for illegal dumping before, or at least in the time that I have known about, it has always been a citation written by DPW, but the video cameras that we have provide such compelling evidence that public safety got involved and issued an arrest warrant, arrested the offender. We showed some of the stills in the news. We're still working on trying to figure out how to share that video around to really show how serious this is. But we've formed basically a new process where if we gather up all that information very nicely, we can hand it over to public safety. And that way we can make sure that these fines are being taken care of, that people are following through on this community service, whereas before DPW didn't have that much authority to really follow up on this stuff. So it's a huge win for the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. The news stories were great. The reception on Reddit was very exciting. So thank you to everybody to help push this process through, voting for it, giving suggestions, everything that you've all done. I've just been very excited about it. And we were able to insert ourselves into the court process, just saying, okay, we haven't gotten this far yet. And just showed up there and he says, okay, what do you want him to pay? And we're like, I don't know. But we're figuring it out, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, and with all of this, I would like to, inform or try to set some standards, if it is, depending on the severity, I would like to kind of have a schedule or recommendations of how many hours to issue. As much as I love flying by the seat of, well, I guess all of our pants is never mind. It would be really nice to have, some standard operating procedures that we could ask to be adhered to. And just a note too, I mean, Chris mentioned this is all of us. Our annual meeting with Mayor Peduto this summer, led to the formal announcement of the goals on littering and dumping, the gold plan. And with all of this, we asked for 2 additional enforcement inspectors, of which we're going to bake a lot of other responsibilities into those roles. And those are budgeted for next year, and those people will be able to continue and enhance the work we've got in motion now. So congrats to all of us.
It's very exciting.
So are there any questions on the enforcement details or? Okay, let's move forward then. Bill, Mr. Crean, welcome. We're so glad you're here. We'll hand the meeting over to you.
Okay. Bill's fine. Everyone, thank you for all your hard work throughout the city to help clean up our little corner of the world. I would like to make a couple comments on the fines and whatnot, whatever is meted out at these hearings. Did you ever get a cost recovery from, let's take Renfrew Street as an example? So did DPW ever provide you with a cost recovery, Chris, what it costs to clean that site up aside from what he was fined?
Yes, we did get a cost recovery for that guy specifically. It was $2,300 because he was caught twice there. And we did hand that over to the police, to the public defendant, and they really did not believe that, you know, as a first run, that they'd get very far in charging him that large amount. And so we do find it helpful as pushing for a fine, but not specifically for the exact amount that it cost to clean up. So we will keep using those cost recovery reports, but I don't expect we will probably ever get the exact amount it cost.
Yeah, agreed. And I'll just tell the foreman where we're working to clean up these sites that just, note everything and keep a detailed cost recovery so we can go after these people and, hopefully buy a ton or two of salt out of this money that we get, or, get something. But great work, everybody. I really appreciate that. And getting to community service, we'd love to have some people community service, sent to community service to clean up different areas. Obviously, no high traffic areas, but I wouldn't put them on Bigelow Boulevard. But we'd love to. I just need to have somebody who can herd the cats. If we do get 5 or 6 people, just somebody that can work with them, transport them in a van of some sort, who knows what. But yeah, that would be great. I've got quite a few sites I could put them, just blind curves where people just toss their McDonald's cup out the window because nobody's looking. And so that brings me to, while you're driving, the tire situation that we're facing. Right now, the contract was up, it was put out for rebid, and a man bid on it June 30th. He was supposed to take over the hauling away of discarded tires, whether they're brought in by PA Cleanways, whether my guys pick them up, dropped off. You're allowed to drop off 2 as a resident. So there was an accumulation of tires, and he did not really have the right equipment to service us. And that was very evident early on. He would show up with a landscape trailer and a pickup truck. So whereas the vendor before would come with a large box truck or sometimes even bring a trailer. We had so many tires in Homewood one time, I had him drop a tractor trailer off, just drop the trailer and we loaded it. That was just, it was overwhelming. Anyway, so the tires are accumulating. He backed out. He dropped the ball and he said, I no longer wish to do this. So in the meantime, our contractor, our vendor, Liberty Tire in Ravenna, Ohio. I tried to sort of cotton up to him and say, gee, we're sorry, can you come back? And he said, since we dropped the city or we didn't get the contract, we have taken on other clients. So now he doesn't have the capacity to come to Pittsburgh and pick up the contract. It has been sent out for rebid by procurement. So hopefully we get a responsible bidder and hopefully it's Liberty Tire. In the meantime, our waste hauler, Republic, I took that call while we were on this. They have agreed, well, we have to iron some things out, but I can get a 30-yard roll-off drop at each division and we can load it neatly, not just dump them in with a high lift bucket. And if we load them neatly, they will haul them to Ravenna, Ohio, to Liberty Tire. So we're working to that end to take care of the situation. In the meantime, hopefully Liberty will see this rebid, this contract that has gone back out. So hopefully they will rebid and assume the hauling of it. discarded tires. So that's where we are.
Thanks, Bill. I know
Questions,
that
comments?
as we were hearing all this drama over the tires for the past over the summer and ever since, it's just been wanting to put our heads through the wall at how awful this has all been.
How flat that is. Yeah, and and I appreciate it. From Friends of the Riverfront to all you folks, out there in the trenches dragging these tires out of the river. We appreciate that. It's just it's gotten to be a little overwhelming. There's hundreds of tires at each division, and hopefully this can put a dent in it. They will haul interstate, so I would have to get permission, and we don't have very large trucks. I mean, we have large trucks, but not that large. So it would mean a lot of our guys going to Ravenna, Ohio, which is about 2 hours away outside of Youngstown. So yeah, and we do appreciate all your hard work, everybody, from picking up the discarded soda can to all those tires and all that stuff up. Friends of the Riverfront just had a cleanup last weekend underneath the West End Bridge area near the casino, near Cardello Electric, if you're familiar, and did a real nice job. So thank you for all your hard work. Any questions, comments?
I see Myrna with her hand up.
Yeah. Well, why did you drop Liberty to begin with, or why?
The low bidder procurement thought he was the responsible low bidder, so they went with him. And when he started not showing up, I thought it was a good time to get in touch with him. And I asked him, I wanted to see his operation. What's the end result? Where do these tires go? And he was very vague. And then finally, we sort of put his feet to the fire and said, we want to come down and see your operation. And because when I Googled his address, it was a residential plan. It was a plan and outside of Washington, PA. And he said, if you Google my address, all you'll see is a residence. And then the next thing I know, he was in touch with procurement saying he no longer will be the contractor.
We've had, so this is a countywide problem, as you probably know, Bill. And Liberty, we've had huge problems, historic huge problems with working with Liberty Tire as well. Because we, also all of the tires that we clean up from the riverfront, we don't take any of them to Public Works, actually. There's Firestone, Bridgestone has a program called Tires Forward, and they pay for the recycling of all spent tires, all illegally discarded tires in waterways, so that we can only do that with our riverfront cleanup program. We don't do it with our land program, but for the most part, unless they're in waterways. But so all of the riverfront cleanup, all of our riverfront cleanup tires go to Tires Forward, but they use Liberty Tire as their hauler because Liberty Tire is the only recycler in the area. And we've waited for months. We now have had to buy a container to hold the tires because now we're becoming a dump site essentially, because we have.
So you're a weight station.
Yeah. So we have hundreds of tires waiting for months for pickup from Liberty Tire.
Okay. And they're still your contractor.
Well, through Tires Forward.
Tires
Forward is our. I mean, they contract. That's what makes it even more complicated is that we're going through Tires Forward, who contracts.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but we're creating a task force to look at the tires countywide. The issue with getting rid of tires is not just a city problem. The city at least has a contract with someone. Other municipalities don't. And I know that's not your issue, that's our issue, but just kind of to put that out there, I don't know if there'd be any benefit to looking at solutions, with other municipalities. Like Penn Hills has no contract. So we are getting rid of the tires in Penn Hills. They took some of them, but then they stopped. So then, you know, we've had to find ways to pay for them and get rid of them. I don't think Braddock does, you know, so some of the outlying areas, I don't know if there's any benefit, but that's one of the things that we're looking at. Because Mahantongo is the other recycler in the state. They are in more central Pennsylvania. They don't, years ago, we contacted them and they would come this far west, but they haven't, but if they had a reason to, maybe they would. So just throwing that out there, we definitely would love to talk, you know, with anyone, maybe PRC also, since you also do collections. But yeah, there are a lot of individuals and a lot of watershed groups in the county, a lot of municipalities that are looking for solutions for tires. So.
And Myrna, one of the things we contract with Liberty Tire for our collection events that are countywide where we collect tires. Knock on wood, we have not had an issue with them. They come for a day. They bring a trailer out, we fill it up, you know, and then they leave at the end of the day. But I think, yeah, it'd be great for maybe us to talk offline to see, even this year, if it helps pick away at some of the tires that you have, if coordinating with PRC during our collection event schedule and stuff. Is the city still taking 2 tires per resident, or have they if you put a pause on that?
No, we're still taking them.
Okay.
Sadly.
Yeah, our issue partly is that, like on a river, we may collect 2 tires, or we may collect 100 tires. You know, we don't know. We don't always know. And then if we just have 2 tires, then we have to store those until we have 100 or 200 or, you know, a truckload. And so that's one issue. That's why we can't just have them come and drop a trailer and fill it up, you know, in a day. So yeah, there are a lot of complications like that, but yes. And I'm sorry, Bill, that we've added, I know that we've been cleaning up a dump site in East Hills with our Pittsburgh contract, our PGH contract, and the one East Hills site has had probably 1,000. In the last month, we've cleaned up 1,000 tires on the land. So I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was an issue. But yeah, tell us what we can do and we will try to help. But yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead, sorry. Who at the county, is it the county convening the task force or Allegheny Cleanways?
Allegheny Cleanways.
Can you share who at the county you've been working with? Someone out of the health department?
Yeah, no. Well, it would probably be good to pull in Joy, but we're just forming the task force. Yeah, we have not. So Penn Hills was interested in being part of it. The Tri-Borough Eco District was interested in being part of it. There's some the Mountain Watershed, I think it's I don't know, a couple of watershed groups. One of our board members is heading it up.
Yeah, Myrna, let us know. We'd be happy to. I'm really interested in seeing, as far as PRC, from the aspect of being involved with, in the past, some of the city and working with the county on collection of different types of harder to recycle materials, being involved in that conversation. We'd be happy to see if there's anything we can do to support it.
Yeah, we've also looked, and Bill, I think I had this conversation with you years ago about buying a shredder, a tire shredder. And Vicki Michaels at the Independence Conservancy, that's what they do. They have a tire shredder, and they landfill everything. And the reality is that most of the stuff that we clean up can't really be recycled anyway. because it's dirty. We do wash them. We have a little video on our Facebook page if you want to see us washing the tires on our barge using river water. But yeah, we do wash them, so they have a better chance of being recycled. But some of them are so old that they're not good for recycling either. But yeah, that's one of the things that we're exploring also is, should we get a shredder, and should we be shredding the tires, and would that be a service then that we could offer?
At one point, Myrna, we had a machine that took the rims out, and then we had two cutters that kind of quartered them so they could be put in a dumpster. That's not the ideal solution, I know, especially talking to this group, I'm sure. But that was one of our solutions. However, with staffing cuts, I couldn't dedicate personnel to spend a week, which will now be a month, at some site just cutting and shredding tires. So, and then we started to, then we went with Republic to haul them away. And I think those cutters have probably been mothballed. I don't know if they're of use at all, but we could certainly look into some sort of shredder, extract the steel belt, and I don't know, landfill the rubber. I don't know the end result. That's what I wanted to find out, what this guy's operation was. That's what I wanted to find out, the end result. And then he backed away.
And we do know that Liberty, a good chunk, last we spoke to them, they incinerate a lot of the rubber for energy at a facility in New York. So it's not all necessarily. So just talking about, I know you're still going to get some energy out of it at the end, but that's not necessarily, we would love for all of it to be recycled, but weighing the pros and cons of all these different things. So you don't end up with a stockpile, of tires for sure.
They use there are two different ways of turning it into crumb rubber. The cryogenic method, which is they freeze but you need pretty clean and pretty robust, I don't know, that it hasn't started to break down tires to do that. The other is shredding, and I think most of the things that get shredded end up, and I think they said the blades are like $10,000 on their shredders, something outrageous like that. I don't know, but that's not the type of thing we were looking at getting. But yeah, I think that my understanding is that if it goes to Liberty Tire, it either gets recycled into or it gets burnt. Yeah, burnt. Incinerated, yes, for fuel.
When Allegheny County or Allegheny Cleanways have, when you've researched shredders before, what was the cost of a shredder? What would be like operationally what you'd be doing with a shredder?
I don't know. That's why I wanted to look at it. I have like 5,000 in my mind, but I don't know where that came from. I was trying to find the old emails because I think it was you, Bill, that we talked to about this, or that and I've reached out to Vicki a couple of times to see what their experience has been. They do rent it out, or not rent it out. They, hold events for some of the other municipalities. So it's Independence Township where I grew up in Beaver County, and then they do collection events for other townships, other communities. So, and it all gets landfilled. They get cut up and landfilled. But as I said, most of the stuff that we collect can't really be recycled anyway. So it's an option to consider. But that's why I have a task force looking into it, because I really haven't had the time to put my own time into doing this. And that's the frustration, is that it's something we've needed for a long time, and I just haven't been able to figure anything out, and just bang my head against the wall. And every time, and I know I'm speaking to the wrong people about this, but for a while we collect the tires and would have them in our dumpster or in a pile with a tarp over them. And then inevitably that led to illegal dumping. And there was one day when Liberty Tire came and picked up the tires, and I was the one that met them and someone had dumped their household trash into our dumpster. And so there was chicken. I mean, I was almost vomiting, trying to clean this out of tires, like scooping it out with my hands, cleaning out corn cobs and chicken, which if you've smelled old chicken, it's disgusting. So anyway, and diapers, that's my other favorite thing. This was just a mixture of household that I was cleaning out of tires so that we could then, tires that we had washed, and then so that Liberty Tire could take them. So that was my limit. That was, once I had to do that, unfortunately our staff had to do that several times before I had to do it. And then I said, we've got to find a solution to this. So that's why I'm forming the task force. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up, Myrna.
Yeah.
I think there's a real place for the Clean Pittsburgh Commission funds here specifically, since this is tire issue basically stretches across every single organization here. Every single person here knows the frustrations of the tires. I think there's a real place that we could have in helping get a more holistic tire plan that everybody here could have access to and would inform how the city works as well. So I'm so thankful that you're doing a task force, and I hope the commission can have a big part in moving it forward.
Yeah, and we'll definitely pool or be in contact with you, Chris and Bill. Interestingly, I had already given our board member the name of the company that you hired, because I was like, this might be our solution. So the answer is no, and I will pass that along. But yeah, thanks.
Yes, the rep from Liberty said that this happens all the time, that municipalities or people go with a lower bid contractor and they realize that it's overwhelming and they back out all the time. So he was not surprised.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely see some room for improvement in how we verify the next firm. With that too, Myrna, as the city's new recycling supervisor, I would love to be part of that task force. And I would love to sign up Bill Crean too.
I'm pretty tired, Alicia. Sorry. Sure, I'll wear that hat.
You too tired for tires? Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
If there's something there with like when the rubber meets the road, that's when we shine. I'm sorry. Back to mute.
Well, folks, we have about 33 minutes left in today's scheduled meeting and a couple of other things to address on today's agenda. Does anyone have any kind of closing comments or questions for Bill? Or I'm so grateful. It's nice to meet you and nice to hear about the work that you're doing. And thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm proud to serve, and thank you all for all your hard work. I know giving up a Saturday, go out and clean up the hillside or a riverside or riverfront is, yeah, it means a lot, and it means a lot to us. Thank you very much. And if you ever have a site that you need some equipment, let us know, and we'll come and take a look at it. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Oh, are you waving? I'm sorry.
I was just doing the hang loose. I have friends from Hawaii. They've got me doing this all the time. Anyway, yeah.
Could Rachel, could I do just a quick clarification for the record? Oh no, the phone's ringing. That the cleanup that Bill mentioned, that the Friends of the Riverfront was part of, I believe that was led by Allegheny Cleanways. Is that right, Myrna?
It was both.
Actually are hoping to visit you today. Can you remind me of your location?
Our wonderful recycling team here hard at work.
Yeah, it was both of us. It was joint project. And United by Blue was the actual leader, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Oh, no.
yins were on my side of the river. So I've got an eye on that. We're gonna get down there again real soon. But anyway.
How many volunteers did you guys have, Myrna? The images I saw were really impressive on like that you guys posted out.
It was about 200. I think the registered were 225. I think what actually showed up was a little under 200, but I don't know the exact number.
That's amazing.
It was good. It was, you know, there are a lot of places that could use 200 volunteers. I wasn't sure that was the best place for 200 volunteers,
Right.
but
right.
it was, but we removed a couple tons of litter. There, we did the West End Bridge, which was really bad. And so that was good to get that done. That was our part of it, was the West End Bridge.
Yeah. On the north side, right?
We did the whole bridge. I don't know what you mean by the
Of the river, like over by the casino? Or
well, across the river on the bridge. We did the whole bridge.
okay. Gotcha.
Over East Carson Street. And
Oh, right. That's fun.
Just the bridge, though.
Okay, gotcha.
There. And the steps up to it. But
yeah, that spot under the bridge, I feel like that's mine.
We didn't get to that. No, we did not.
Okay, I was gonna call, like, don't worry, I got it. But anyway, that was awesome. Okay, so let's move on with the Finance Committee updates, and Afton and Sarah.
Sure. So we're just about out of money, thankfully. I think everybody that submitted an invoice to me has received the funding that they requested as approved by the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. So that's awesome. I think I swiped my card on everybody, and I think I signed off on everything as of Wednesday, so we should be pretty good. I'm waiting for one more last minute invoice for a company to supply us with desktop or tabletop rather, 1.3 gallon recycling bins. And the company's name is Package Free. That will be part of our composting. Ultimately, those bins will be part of our composting pilot in 2023. And that should use up a good portion of the remaining funding that we have. After that, we should have about $2,000 left. And that'll be it for the year. There was one more outstanding invoice that we had approved for the bags, but I really don't think that they're going to get that into us in enough time. There was a little bit of email back and forth because we're sort of out of.
There was a little back and forth on whether they were going to select something that was union made or reached a certain level of recyclable materials.
Right, but the issue is getting them paid in time, and that's what they're out of time for.
Right.
We absolutely can't use a P card for it at this point. So, so they will have to find another method in order to get that paid for. So the best option is actually looking like we'll have to add it to our budget for next year. They have to get everything. I think the last day is the 14th. My last day is the 10th, and I'm actually out of office tomorrow. So that's sort of not an option anymore for P card. So there was a couple of options that were presented to them. One of them would be using the remaining of some funding, not from CPC, but from their own budget, from council's budget. But they would have to get all of that done and submitted by the 14th, which is next Wednesday. So yeah. So the next best thing would be in January, we can revisit a new budget. Our new budget, which I think actually got increased from last year, will be about $30,000, it looks like, for this year was approved, and getting that into next year's budget, and then we can process it in the new year. So it's not a no-go, it's just not right now at the end of December. It might just have to wait until January, that's all.
Okay, I know that Erica Strasburger's chief of staff, Emily Yonan, was working on a pretty quick turnaround time. We were supposed to talk today, so
okay.
thank you for reminding me of those deadlines, and I hope you have a great day off tomorrow.
Yep, will do.
The only other thing I wanted to mention, I got an email from Threadbare Cider House. A donation for the CPC totaled $245.39. So that check will be sent to PRC, and PRC will hold it. We kind of have a little set aside line item for CPC funds. We can include that into the budget for 2022.
That's awesome. Should we send them a card? Thank you.
Yeah, and Melody Bryant, I don't know if that was the contacts you had for the Garbage Olympics. She was the one that reached out to myself and Lena.
At Threadbare, I'll do a card just from all of us. Is that okay with everybody if I just send her a card? Okay, cool.
And thanks, Afton, for all your work and kind of the last minute
Sure.
stuff done in a really quick
Last minute
turnaround. That was
shuffle.
awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sarah and
let the
Afton.
record show we are all clapping. Thank you so much, Afton.
Yeah, I
Bravo.
seriously. I know I've been gone all year, but I was really worried about not spending everything. So hats off. Great job.
Well, to everybody. Yeah, I didn't do it by myself, so thank you.
Yes, you did. No,
Getting
I'm
those
kidding.
invoices turned around and everything else. I know that was kind of the process is kind of a PITA in terms of having to have things, in a certain way. But, at the end of the day, and doing the P card means that we have to use a credit card. One of the other things we found out in this experience is that, we can't do, it takes a good bit of turnaround for a check. So maybe in the future, what might be useful is for all of us to be able to work with the controller's office to get all of the organizations we work with on the CPC approved by the controller's office. So if a check needs to be submitted as a backup versus using the P card, we're able to do that, because in the 2-week turnaround, it just wasn't going to be possible because of the things of the hoops the bureaucratic hoops that have to be jumped through in order to get you guys signed up and registered in order to get that check issued. So that's something to look at in the new year as well, is maybe working with our controller's office to figure out what needs to happen to get all the groups that we work with as part of CPC sort of approved, I guess, or approved vendors, so that if there needs to be a check in the future, that's a much easier process.
Yeah, I just know that as a non-city and I'm not even employed by an environmental group necessarily, when you guys would say P card and this and that, I'm like, I can't help here because I just don't know what I'm doing. So having you on that team has just made all the gates open up, and I, for one, am super grateful.
Awesome.
And having been through the process now, we say this every year, we've said this last couple of years, but for sure, honestly, we went through the first years, but we've now used up the first allotment of money that for the Clean Pittsburgh Commission, that's huge. And we've learned a lot, a huge amount. We've gotten the contracts, which took forever, and the P card, which took some time. And so I really do believe that it will become a lot easier from now on.
Yeah.
So it was a good learning year, 2 years.
Yeah, we built quite the roller coaster to send a card down in the future.
Awesome. Are there any more questions or items to discuss under our Finance Committee update agenda item? No. Okay, cool. So the next item on the agenda are the elections. I just wanted to open up a conversation about elected members of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. At present, we have a lot of folks. We have a lot of transition. I started a business which kind of took me out of CPC capacity for almost the entire year. So my title as co-chair is really not, I don't think, possible until I figure out what I'm doing out here in the business world, and can come back and dedicate some steady regular time toward the commission. So I know that I will be stepping down as co-chair. I know a lot of other folks have had their roles change. And I know too that we have an incoming administration with Mayor-elect Ed Gainey. So I just kind of wanted to open up a conversation about that, accept nominations, any interest in any of the board roles and positions, and just kind of have a little chat about that so that we can position ourselves for success next year.
Yeah, there has been a lot of changes in the past year, a lot of great things done by great people here that were rewarded with new roles that took on a lot more responsibility. So as those change, we totally understand if your position in the Clean Pittsburgh Commission needs to change, if you want to take on more, if you have to take on less. Obviously, all of it makes a lot of sense. We do want to be cognizant of when the new mayor comes in, what do they want to appoint somebody to a leadership role? We can't predict anything like that for now, so we're just going to push forward with what we normally do. And if we got to change halfway through the year, we will. But one thing I would like to do is nominate Erin Tobin for my current role as outreach coordinator. She has already done such great work being in front of people at community meetings as an outreach person for the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy. It seems so natural for her to also say, while I have you, while I'm talking about parks, I also want to talk to you about PRC and Allegheny Cleanways and the Clean Pittsburgh Commission and all the great work that everybody here does. So it seems she's so great at that. So we've talked recently. The Clean Pittsburgh newsletter is going to go on. It will be taken over by an actual DPW representative, outreach specialist as part of the gold plan. So all of our work will still go on in this newsletter. Erin won't be writing it as she does not feel comfortable with the creative writing aspect. She's great in person. But that's my nomination, Erin Tobin. If anybody else wants to throw their hat in the ring, please do.
Could I just tag on to that outreach specialist position that you mentioned, Chris? You all may remember the kind of the trajectory of us wanting to use some of our funding to hire an intern and then a part-time staffer. We collaboratively composed a pretty, if I do say so myself, a pretty beautiful job description for what that will look like. That position evolved into being dedicated to public works overall. It is the first time, plenty of the city's departments have an outward facing like public person. Public Works has not. So it's really exciting that for the first time, this entire 700 plus person city department will have this. But Chris and I are also, and Amie are very intent on having a little bit of a portfolio queued up and perhaps, 2 or 3 days a week of their full-time role being dedicated to us at Environmental Services and the Clean Pittsburgh Commission to elevate and further broadcast, so much of what we have done. So again, as we're going through our accolades and year-end high fives, pats on the back, that person is also in large part informed by all of us and our gold plan. Which lends to, Rachel mentioned the kind of tentative nature of a new administration, and that since we are, not a political organization, we all have been appointed by the mayor, approved by city council. So I guess I just want to kind of set us up for a level of uncertainty in literally in these uncertain times, but with the full knowledge that those leadership positions may look a little bit different and be less intensive than they have been in the past with, dedicated admin support. So.
That's good. Thank you. So
Do we
So
want to open it up to anybody who is currently serving in a capacity that they no longer, that they wish to step down, hand over to anybody else? I think that's so we can see what positions may be opening up before we talk about filling them in. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I'll take that cue. I have been so fortunate to be part of this commission well before I worked for the city, and in the 6 years that I have worked for the city. And I will put this in writing and more formally write a little bit of a transition memo up, but this will be my last meeting as an official Clean Pittsburgh Commission member, thus vacating also my co-chair role. But I want to be very clear that I will maintain the level of curiosity and nebbiness that I've been able to sustain and cultivate over the course of working together for many years now. Yeah, so I'll put that in writing and maybe share some memories too. But with the now, let's see. Well, I guess this only covers one. And we had created a little bit of context. We had created the co-chair position because it is such a can be a very overwhelming role. We have, not guided the spending of funds before, much less thousands of dollars. So among many other things. So as stepping down from the co-chair position as it exists, I would also like to nominate our friend and colleague Chris Mitchell for that role, based on who he is as a person and the great coordinating work that he has been able to do and the success that we have been able to see as an entire commission thanks to Chris. So I have every confidence that that you will be great and would like to hereby nominate you.
I, Sally, second that nomination.
And does it also make sense to just remove the co-chairness? Is there anybody else who would like to help Chris lead? Or, I mean, my role as co-chair has been simply to try to keep us on track. I mean, when I show up, that is, to keep us on track through the agenda and just assist where I can. And so, like Alicia said, it may not be as arduous as it was in the past. Chris has certainly been a very heavy lifter for the commission since he joined us. And it may not make sense to retain two chairs or a co-chair and just turn it into one chair, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm happy to have help. We can have 5 co-chairs. I'd be thrilled with that. But I understand everybody's got priorities too. So I will be leaning on everybody for help regardless whether you take on an official title or not. But please speak up if you're interested in shaping what we're focusing on in the meetings, how the meetings are going to be run. I know we always talk about Lori Beth's great MC skills whenever she takes on a meeting and keeps us moving. So we'd love to, if she'd love to throw her hat in that ring too. I mean, I guess that counts as a nomination now that I say it.
I was also going to nominate Lori Beth, and partly because of who she is and what she's done already, as you just expressed. But also, I do think it's good to have, this might be the first time, I think this is the first time, well, Alicia, never mind, was the first time that we had a chair that was a city employee. And, but with Alicia, there was a co-chair who was not. So I do think that to have some balance would be good. So yeah, for that reason as well. So I think I would love to see Lori Beth as a co-chair as well.
I can MC this meeting in my sleep. There's no drunk people yelling or saying like weird shit about God or anything at it, Well, not yet.
Lori Beth, I hope you're going to add some context.
From the poetry slam. I always
mean,
thought
I know that,
was being way
the listening
easier than the
public-
poetry slam. So
Yes, a very fabulous, fabulous event that everyone should attend.
thank you, everybody. I'll be happy to help out if I can.
Awesome.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, I think that the idea of a just a resident has kind of been, in a leadership position has kind of been a tradition actually of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. And so that's where I was going with that. Not that I didn't think that Chris or a city employee could be trusted or anything like that. I wanted to clarify that. It's just, there's always been a tradition that a resident has been in part of the leadership. So thanks.
Would it be okay with that to acknowledge, Myrna, the 2 years that you had served as the chair of the commission, and Sarah Shea, the number of years that you also served in that capacity? I would like to echo the sentiment that placing the responsibility of guiding the goings on of this 18-member body, to put that on a community representative or volunteer is a tall order. And if I could just make a note to thank you for that previous service while underscoring what you said.
Yeah, I was actually thinking more along the lines of Boris, who kind of for, it feels like a decade, but for a number of years led the Clean Pittsburgh Commission and was not employed at all. He was just a volunteer. And then Joe Divac was also who became employed by us, but initially was just a resident. Yeah, so there's always been someone as a resident that has been in leadership, and I just think that's a really important part of the history and the mission of the Clean Pittsburgh Commission. I appreciate you who are just residents. That's what I'm saying.
Do we want to, well, we haven't discussed the financial roles or anything else. Everybody who's currently in those roles, do you wish to stay in them? We hope you do, because you've done such great work, but now's the time to speak up. We've got the recording secretary and the 2 financial roles. Is that correct? Or are those the ones we haven't discussed yet?
I'm fine staying as a co-treasurer.
I also am good with staying as recording secretary. And I know at one point we discussed potentially just posting the recordings of the meetings onto the CPC website and not formal minutes. And in that capacity, I'm happy to assist it with any additional work that might need, or people that might need help serving in other roles as well.
Cool.
I know we have been talking about the difference between actual minutes and the recording. Because the recording was so new, we thought maybe we don't even need that. But we were talking recently and thought that the official minutes is easier to absorb, especially when we're doing something like approving them or looking back at what did we say we were going to do, rather than a full hour-and-a-half video where we spend a lot of time having fun. But so we may want to solidify and continue that minutes.
Yeah, at minimum, I would recommend, what each of us have said that we would do, our action items and next steps. I have benefited greatly from the accountability of having things in writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with action items. I just think it's so much. Like it's such a chore, like the amount of work to take detailed minutes in comparison to how they're used versus, you know, a punch list of action items. I would still like to see just using the video as the official record.
I'm happy to even do like a hybrid where for the first couple months of next year, we use the video and I also record some minutes with like a different section that we call out action items. And then we can see as the year goes on what works best for us, if we want to just continue the action items or if still having that rundown of the actual meeting in writing. I can continue with that too, whatever works for us.
Yeah, I would just posit that we may not always be meeting by Zoom. It works well for me. I can stay in my little cave and turn off my video when I want to eat my ginger snaps or whatever. But I'm not sure that we may end up meeting again. And so then we would need to have minutes, right? Or will there always be some sort of, will we be required to always record the meeting?
I think we should, as a mayor sponsored commission, continue to offer meetings remotely. I know we don't get a lot of non-member participants, but adding the option and then taking it away during COVID has been really odd because it is an access issue where I don't know how many people are watching our videos, but the option is there.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%, Lori Beth. I think that it's also everything that you just said, but also like being able to go back and watch, Chris's presentation on the gold plan and refer back to that as an education tool as well is really helpful. So I know it's not easy, but if there is capacity to incorporate recording of the meetings, moving forward, I think we should really try to make that happen.
Plus, just as not anyone who's employed by the city or anything that could be construed as related to this, I have to take 4 hours of unpaid time to attend an in-person meeting. That maybe a lot of other people don't have quite that same experience as me.
Right.
Sally, I'm sorry. I think I sharked you. I saw your hand up at the last minute.
I was going to say, I was under the impression, I mean, we can ask, I don't know if Will is actually listening to our meeting right now, but I was under the impression that we were moving towards having a room or already have a room now in the city county building to do exactly this, the hybrid model of meeting in person and also being able to accommodate Zoom attendees. But maybe council just has that and no one else. Although, I mean, there's other groups like the land bank that, well, I guess they're where they're going to meet in New York right now. Anyway, maybe it's something we can look into because I thought that we were at least moving towards a resource like that, which again would still accommodate the, keeping the video as the official meeting minutes. But I don't know if other people like that chore, then I guess that's fine. I just know if I had to take the meeting minutes, I'd be, trying to make it the video.
I think there's a very real discussion to be had with INP about their capacities to continue recording in a post-COVID world when we get there, what that's going to look like. I do feel like when we were meeting in person, we were a little bit more capable. These Zoom meetings, as great as they are to share and go back and things like that, are harder to collaborate on sometimes. And but I think there's things we can pull from this when we're back to breathing the same air again. So a hybrid model is definitely should be our highest option if we have several different, but there's discussions for that for another time. But yeah, for now, meetings or minutes are important. And we'll see how we can shore that up going forward.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
And in the meantime, another, if we could also do a round of applause for Erica Young, who has been taking our minutes for how many years now, Erica? More than 4.
Maybe 4, like probably around 4. I've been on the commission for 7 years, I think. So Patty did a really good job beforehand. So she gets all the credit for that.
Yeah. Our dear sweet Patty Chavez. Yes, but thank you, Erica. Your ability to capture us is unmatched.
So I actually have to go. So I've talked with Lori Beth, and I'm gonna hand the chairing of this meeting over to her, and thank you all, and I'll see you next month. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Hi. Okay, is there any position that we haven't talked about yet? I think not, but I might be wrong. Anybody? I think we're good.
I think we're good.
That means it's time to move on to our last order of business, which is our member organization updates. Ta-da! Member organizations to the front.
I do have an update, but do we have to vote on the elections or anything like what's the process, or did we do that, or like what's just formality question there? I don't know.
I don't know. Do we have to vote? I don't think there are any contested positions, and I know we have put off selections. Some, like last year, we didn't make selections until January, I think, or the year before. I don't know if we want to hang on to see what the new administration is going to say / do about any of that. I defer to Chris and Alicia, who possibly have already had this conversation.
I would say let's go ahead and just do a vote for our current slate that has been put up as is. And if we need to accommodate the mayor's office as they get acclimated and have some plans for the Clean Pittsburgh Commission, we can absolutely do that then. But better just not to leave ourselves in a gray area between now and then.
Okay, so I believe that slate is, do we have to vote on every single thing individually, or can we just approve it whole cloth? It would be myself and Chris as co-chairs, and Aaron Tobin taking over for Chris as outreach coordinator, with a public works employee intern doing our public facing documentation, and everyone else staying the same. Did I wrap that up more or less? Okay. All in favor? Raise your hand or thumbs it up. Right hands. Any opposed? Seeing none, slate of leadership carries as stated. Thank you so much. Yay, good work, everyone. Now we'll move on to member organization updates. Look at us, we did a thing.
Well, one quick update for us is we have a big cleanup this weekend. It's supposed to rain on Saturday, but we'll still be doing it in the Greenway, in the Beachview Seldom Seen Greenway. It's a huge cleanup because of the difficulty of the location of the dumping, not necessarily because there's so much stuff, but we'll just need a lot of people to be able to daisy chain it out of the woods and out of the hillside. And especially if it's raining, the more people on a hillside, the better, the safer, and the less damage that we'll do to the hillside. So yeah, that's all.
Myrna, can you send out a calendar invite for that cleanup? Just
Sure. Yes.
if there's one that, or is there a Facebook event?
No, partly because we want people to register through our own website.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll send something out. I'll figure out what to send out. Sorry.
Thank you.
I've heard there are going to be a lot of cool people at the cleanup.
I heard that as well.
Beth, me?
We picked a rainy day.
Yeah, I think Rachel's going to be there as well. So.
It's at least supposed to be warmer. So supposed to, yep, I think it's the upper 50s.
Warm and wet is only this much better than cold and wet. I don't know. Get your boots out. All right. Anybody else with a member organization update today?
I will, this is Erica. I'll send out an email to the group, but we just finalized our virtual tour of a landfill that might be helpful for your organizations or residents that you guys work with. So I will send that out to the group. And then we are just in the process of finalizing our comprehensive updated Pittsburgh MRF tour as well, with the hopes of debuting that in early 2022. So they're long awaited, but Rome wasn't built in a day. So I will send this out to the group. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Is that ready to share in the newsletter, the landfill one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Erica. Okay, anybody else? I know it's end of year. I'm sure everyone's got lots of paperwork, but
last but not least, hi, my name is Omo. How are you guys doing? I hope everything's well as we wrap this up. Anyway, we are, as I alluded to earlier, we're Christmas trees. Those things will be popping off hopefully immediately after the holiday, but no. So for the month after Christmas, we have a couple of locations which people can drop off trees, the Divisions, Highland Park, the zoo laydown area, and a couple of locations in the south that still need to be confirmed. But I will be sharing a flyer that we put together that hopefully you guys can share on your socials as well, perhaps, closer to holiday, maybe before. But yeah, we've already started flyering some of the people who are selling the trees. But of course, we just want to do less paper. So when I share that, hopefully we can get it shared out as well and add to the newsletter too. That'd be great. But yeah, thank you guys. Bye.
thank you, Elmo. Okay. Anybody else? No PRCs today?
Well, first, I signed up for First, cheers to Alicia. If this is your last formal meeting, you've done so much for the commission since you joined it. So cheers. Congratulations. And we're gonna miss you. So don't go too far away for sure.
She's not allowed to go too far.
We know where you work,
Cheers.
so we can find you. For PRC, Emily, I'm trying to think if there's anything real big close out at the end of the year. We're kind of wrapping up everything. I did send an email out to everybody to say, if you know of anybody, we are hiring a new or looking to hire a new environmental education coordinator. So please feel free to share that out to whomever. And maybe my brain's just overwhelmed with other close end of year stuff, but it's all a jumble in my head. But cheers, Alicia. Thanks for all your hard work.
Seconded. I'm so good at Robert's rules. That's why I'm here. Okay. In that case, I think that's everything, right? That's everything that's on this list. Send your newsletter submissions, please, to Chris. He will like those very much. And comes down for Unseldom with us this weekend. And happy holiday if you get to take a break, or if you don't, either way. now someone can move to adjourn the meeting, I guess. It can all time be me now.
I'll first that one, or I don't even know how that works anymore. I agree. Let's
move.
adjourn.
I see Amia's motion and I will second it.
Thank you.
I will raise you 5 pounds. No. Okay. Thanks everybody for coming out. We were like almost on time. It was so good. And we'll see you very soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Happy holidays.